Hello and welcome back to Corpse Factory. Let's continue where we left off, which is, it should be that file. My walk through the train station this morning is confident, cocky, self-assured. When I board the train, I even managed to take a seat for the first time in a while. I withdraw a worn book from my handbag and flip open the cover. There's a name scrawled in blue ballpoint pen on the first page, but it has become faded and illegible over time. I don't quite remember where I picked up this book. Maybe I discovered it at a second-hand bookshop. Who knows? I own so many obscure tomes that I can't be expected to recall purchasing every single one. Its aged cover and weathered spine both bear the same title. Boss Photography, a comprehensive history of photo manipulation. The book is written in English and it's a slog to work through with my limited knowledge of that language. But I like to skim through it primarily for the photographs contained within. The examples of early image doctoring from centuries ago fascinates me. The book even features techniques and studies as recent as 1993 when it was first published. It's true that a lot of the techniques discussed within are no longer relevant in today's digital age. However, there's a hearty section dedicated to the art of manipulating corpse photos, something that I'm indeed very interested in. The most intriguing aspect of this section's content is that the featured artists perform the opposite kind of work that I do. Instead of manipulating images of the living to make them appear dead, the artists in the book edit images of the dead in order to make them look alive once more. In bygone eras when photographs of people were taken few and far between, a sect of artists dedicated themselves to honoring the memories of the deceased. They did this by making the photos taken upon death look beautiful and full of life. These photos were gifted to family members and loved ones. The tradition makes sense. Imagine if you lost someone dear to you and you had no photographs of them. Wouldn't it be wonderful to receive one last memento, a beautiful image of the way you remember them? Instead of using makeup to beautify a corpse, these artists applied paintbrush and pen directly to a photograph to seemingly bring the deceased back to life. The impressive aspect of this process is the way they illustrated the corpse's eyes to look full of life. Even though it's a far cry from the work I do, I can't help but feel some sort of kinship with the artists discussed in this book. Surely we're cut from the same cloth. I don't know about that one. Browsing through the images in this book inspires me to work hard at my own photo editing. Many of the pictures are in black and white, but to me that only drives home how impressive these old techniques were. I finish flipping through a chapter and close the book. I hold the tattered tome close to my chest and breathe a sigh of satisfaction.
The next station is Shinjuku. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Chuo line, the Shonan Shinjuku line, the Saikyo line.
I quickly stuff the book into my handbag and get ready to disembark the train. When I'm certain nobody is looking, I carefully open the lid of the large dumpster in front of me. The stench of rotten food and who knows what else assaults my senses, and I reflexively gag and splutter. The staff at the convenience store really need to seal their trash in plastic bags before tossing it in here.
Ugh, this is disgusting. I have to stop doing this.
The raised open lid locks into place at a 45-degree angle, allowing my now free hands to retrieve a small black object from my handbag. It's a flip phone, a cheap plastic thing with a shiny charcoal finish. I open it up and tap on the retro tactile keys, confirming that I've completely deleted all sent messages and photos. Nodding to myself, satisfied that I've covered my tracks, I eject the battery from the back of the casing and toss it in the dumpster. I then snap the phone in half along the hinge, separating the screen from the keypad. I don't know if I mentioned this last time around, but there is no actual reasoning to her destroying the phone itself, is there? She could, as long as she takes out the SIM card, everything's fine. Like, the phone is just a piece of metal with nothing really to track it with. So, I don't know, she's wasting more phones than she needs to, but if it makes her feel better. The screen crunches into pieces with a gratifying underneath my shoes. I retrieve the smashed parts from the asphalt, careful not to prick my finger on the sharp glass. With hardly a glance, I unceremoniously launch the broken parts of the phone into the dumpster. Also, she's putting the phone exactly where she put whatever else she got rid of, so wouldn't that... oh, whatever. I clap my hands together to dust them off, then shut the dumpster lid and hurry away. I sidle between the brick wall of the convenience store and a narrow metal railing intended to keep people like me away from the dumpsters. Now in front of the convenience store, I finally feel I can breathe deeply without fear of inhaling the toxic contents of the dumpster. I let my lungs take their fill before nonchalantly crossing the street. That takes care of my latest burner phone. Before leaving the office building, I cracked the SIM card in half and disposed of it in the combustible trash. Okay, so she did get rid of the SIM card somewhere else. Okay, fine. Now, with the phone itself destroyed and discarded at a different location, my mind is at ease. It has been slightly less than 24 hours since I messaged my latest victim, that athletic guy that I may have briefly fantasized about during my restless slumber. My general rule of thumb is to keep a burner phone for exactly 24 hours after sending a photo. However, I made an exception today. I wanted to discard the phone early, clear my anxiety, and get a full night's rest tonight. Besides, it's not like anyone ever replies to the messages I send. I'd love it if they did, but it is what it is. So really, there's no point holding on to the evidence of my wrongdoing for longer than necessary. If memory serves, I wrote tomorrow's date on the latest victim's timestamp, May 30th, 10:31 am. The victim may decide to kill himself today, of course. He could end up just like Akane Tsurumaki. But if he's anything like her, he'll hold out until just a few hours before the designated time. He'll let panic and fear boil and build inside him until he just can't take it anymore. Or someone else will come along and end it all for him, I can't be sure. I still don't know what happened to Ruri Hatano. Did she kill herself or did someone else snuff out her life? Either way, I'll start researching obituaries tomorrow. I'm confident that this will be another successful request. If it is, I'll truly be on a winning streak. With butterflies in my stomach, I cross the road. It's a nice park. On my route home, I usually like to trek through the small park close to my apartment, provided the weather is decent. I avoid the park in the mornings as a lot of people walk their dogs and I can't risk my allergies flaring up before I reach the office. In the evening, the park is much emptier. I suppose I finish work a bit earlier than most people, so while everyone else is busy, I can enjoy the fresh air and scenery. I make my way along the neat, broad dirt path that connects one side of the park to the other. Wooden benches line the path at regular intervals, and at this time of the evening it's common to see a homeless person or two using a bench as a resting place. This city has more homeless people than the general population would care to admit. I try to not think much of it as I walk by it every day. I already know that many people have it worse off than I do, but there's not exactly anything I can do to help, right? Should I be giving these people money that I can't afford to spare? Wouldn't I just end up homeless as well? I'm not exactly broke, but I live month to month on my salary. It's expensive to live on the outskirts of Akihabara, and commuting to Shinjuku every day isn't exactly cheap either. Then you add in electricity bills, phone, food. I mean, I don't eat unless I have to, but I'd starve if I didn't buy a meal every other day. And don't even get me started on the cost of the coffee I drink. If I'm lucky, I can score a can for 100 yen, but more often than not, I'm paying up to 150 for a single can. That's not all that much. Even if I were to buy canned coffee in bulk from one of these huge variety stores like Don Quixote, I'd still only save a handful of loose change. And I wouldn't have access to the familiar section I get at the convenience store. I'm just thankful that I don't go out for drinks after work like most of my colleagues. If I had to buy a few rounds of beer every week, my bank account would definitely dry up. By avoiding that kind of group outing, not only do I save money, but I'm also not forced to spend more time around people. It's a win-win situation. Realizing I'm trudging along the path at a snail's pace, I tell myself to speed up my gait. Toward the exit of the park, the silhouettes of two people on a bench come into view. The sound of laughter carries on the wind, and I can't help but feel like I've heard the voices before. As I draw closer, a sinking sensation clutches at my stomach. I've forgotten the names, but is it the is it Shinya? I think it's Shinya and what's her, Tomoe? I think it was Tomoe. It's been about 2 weeks since the last time I played. I immediately get the urge to turn around, but I'm so close to home.
Aha! It's Noriko! Fancy seeing her here.
Noriko's here.
Tomoe and Shinya. Tomoe glares and flips her long hair behind her ear with a shit-eating grin on her face. Shinya looks kind of out of place outside of the office. His face is filtered by an especially uncomfortable expression. I start to wonder why these two are here, but then I recall that Tomoe did mention they were going out on a date on Friday night. I suppose it's just my bad luck that I would run into them on the way home. Though, what are they doing here in Akihabara? I have to assume that Tomoe came here on purpose just to spite me.
On your way home?
Uh-huh. How's your, date?
We're having a blast. Right, Chen?
Yes, of course. A great time.
He's not having a great time. I wonder if Tomoe has been dragging Shinya along against his will.
Okay, well, I'll leave you to it.
Hey, we're gonna grab some chicken. Why don't you come with us?
No thanks.
I can't think of any worse way to spend an evening than eating with Tomoe.
Please come with us, Noriko.
Shinya has a dejected look on his face. It's pitiful, but he brought this date on himself. Why should I have to bail him out?
Sorry, I've got things to do tonight.
Are you sure you're not just avoiding eating? Afraid to gain a bit of fat?
I honestly don't know what to say to that.
Say, Shin, you ever seen Noriko eat anything?
Well, now that you mention it, she never seems to eat at the office.
I eat at home, if that's okay with you.
It's not completely a lie. Sometimes I eat at home, sometimes I don't eat at all.
Come on, come get some chicken with us. You can throw it back up or whatever afterwards if it makes you feel better.
She's starting to get on my nerves. I swear she tries to identify my flaws and insecurities just so she can rub them in my face.
Tomoe, you're not being very nice to Noriko. Aren't you two supposed to be friends?
We're besties. Besties talk shit to each other, right, Noriko?
Right.
Huh. Fascinating.
Anyway, I'm going now. See you on Monday.
Okay. See you then.
Buzzkill. She's such a drag.
I let Tomoe's words hang in the air as I walk past her. I'm pretty annoyed that she dragged Shinya all the way here just to taunt me. Is this her idea of a good date? Does she care about Shinya at all, or is this whole thing just to annoy me? Tomoe dating Shinya doesn't even get under my skin. I don't have feelings for him at all. What does get on my nerves is simply the fact that Tomoe is trying so hard to get on my nerves. Of course it wouldn't be fair if I could carry on my way home without one final interruption. Tomoe calls out to me again.
Your friend Aoi is gonna start work with us on Monday, yeah? Oh, fun. I can't wait to meet a friend of Noriko's.
I grimace. I suppose Shinya told her about that. I turn back to face them both.
Don't even think about messing with Aoi. That girl has dealt with enough crap at her last job.
Oh, has she? Maybe big, strong Noriko can protect her now.
I'd do anything for her. She's my best friend. If you had any friends of your own, you'd understand what that feels like.
Well, I got plenty of friends. And only some of them are sluts like you.
Yeah. I'm going.
I finally managed to disengage from the conversation, even with Tomoe's mocking laugh piercing the air. I exit the park, cross the road, and walk down the block leading to my apartment. Tomoe. I have to wonder if that girl exists solely to irritate me. I have to tell myself she's not worth my time. I can't let her taunts get to me. Grin and bear it, as they say. That's what stoic, unflinching Noriko would do. Running a hand through my hair, I smile and approach my apartment building. May 30th, Saturday afternoon. I spent all morning trying unsuccessfully to calm my nerves. I'm anxious about finding out whether my latest victim has perished. It's afternoon now, so the time written on his photo has passed. If my work was successful, I should know soon enough. I've already set up an obituary news alert on my phone to keep me informed. Instead of sitting at home all day and waiting for my phone to go off, I decided to visit an old favorite hangout. Public libraries don't get the credit they deserve in this age. They're quiet, calm, soothing. I can sit here for hours, for free, and just get lost in different worlds. Plus, they always carry works by my favorite authors. Sometimes the librarians are even kind enough to recommend titles that might fit my tastes. I don't feel judged here. Nobody looks at me and mocks my clothing or my makeup. Nobody looks at me and asks if I've had enough to eat lately. Nobody makes fun of me, that lonely girl in the corner reading Lovecraft and calmly stroking her hair. Every so often I put my book aside and check my phone out of habit. There's still no alerts. Have I miscalculated something? Does my latest photo not look convincing or damning enough to inspire suicide or murder? I find myself growing increasingly anxious and impatient.
Cthulhu, huh? You a Lovecraft nerd?
I blink twice and look up at the strange man standing over me.
Huh?
Sus, didn't mean to interrupt. Notice you're reading Lovecraft. Huh, in Japanese too. Didn't know this book had been translated.
Yeah. My English isn't great, so I read the translated versions.
That's mad. Do they translate esoteric names? Can't imagine Cthulhu being easy to write in kanji.
Well, it's written in katakana, so...
Of course. Kojiro.
The man extends a hand and I can't tell if he wants me to shake it or pass him my book.
What?
I'm Kojiro. You?
Noriko. Kurosawa.
Nice. Just Kojiro for me. No last name. Call me Koji.
You don't have a last name?
Used to. Lost it. Fire, you know. I'm just Kojiro now.
This guy is weird. His clothes smell like they've been stashed in the back of a closet for a decade or two. His face is unshaven and his eyes are scarily clear and focused, despite being masked by a pair of thick glasses.
Didn't mean to keep you. Saws again. I'm looking for Nobel Sinclair. He around here?
I mean, I don't know. Who?
Writer guy. Did that book about befriending the dead? The librarian told me to check these shelves.
Sorry, I don't really know.
No worries. I'll find him. You know, you look like the type who'd enjoy his books. Not to judge you by your cover. Need a strong stomach, though. Messed up shit.
As much as I hate to admit it, the stranger has captured my interest.
How messed up are we talking?
Well, his first book describes dressing up corpses, taking them to dinner. Goal is to not get caught out. Mad, right? Like something out of that American movie. Weekend with Bernard? Something like that. Second book goes nuts. Main character fills the school classroom with bodies, all dressed up as students. Runs lectures and records them, puts them online. Best part? No one can figure out if these books are fiction. Internet says Nobel Sinclair actually did these things. Says he's doing time now, writing these books as a confession.
Interesting.
Right? It's deranged. Makes for a good bedtime reading.
Huh.
You on noise? Well, of course you are.
Yeah. You?
Yeah, at KojiKoji. Add me if you like. We can talk shop. I'm gonna find Nobel. Wish me luck.
And without so much as a glance back at me, the man walks away. I try to return to my reading, but that whole conversation just replays back in my head. What a bizarre encounter. Maybe I'll just head home for today. Being here has helped me calm down, but I'm still eagerly anticipating the fate of my victim. Besides, I have to admit that I'm growing a little bit hungry. Maybe onigiri, a rice ball from the convenience store, will tide me over until tomorrow. I gather my things and stand up, letting out a little hoo as I stretch my muscles. As I head toward the sliding doors to leave the library, a little alert sounds from my phone. This is it. My phone is in my hands in less than a second, the screen unlocked and the obituary page loading before my eyes. Article posted online, today 2:39 PM. Keywords found, free, Mr. Accident, numerical data range 20 to 30. Image data found, yes. Saturday, May 30th. Mr. Eiichi Hanada, 22 of Tokyo Prefecture, was pronounced dead this afternoon at a traffic intersection, 12:02 PM. Coroner's office reports that Mr. Hanada was involved in a traffic accident. No other casualties have been reported. Mr. Hanada is survived by his fiancée, who wishes to remain anonymous. A funeral service has not yet been arranged. View image attachment. I quickly load the image attachment and can't believe my eyes. The photo is the exact same one that was sent to me through Corpse Girl's website. There can be absolutely no doubt that this is my latest victim. I've done it again. My breathing starts to quicken, my cheeks begin to grow hot. I know from experience that if I don't get somewhere private and quickly, I may very well make a fool of myself in public. I quickly glance around the library for a sign pointing to a restroom. As soon as my eyes settle on it, I dash toward it, swerving between bookshelves and through narrow aisles. There's one door for a unisex bathroom and an unremarkable beige portal. The muscles in my thighs are tightening and I squirm as I reach for the door. My hand grasps the cool metal handle and presses down, only to be met with immovable resistance. It's locked. There's a sign on the door, a notice that I completely ignored in my haste. Closed for cleaning.
Shit!
I curse despite my best efforts to keep a low profile. My head turns frantically, looking for somewhere, anywhere that I can sit down and remain out of sight while my body reacts erratically to my latest success.
Yo, you busted?
This guy again.
I need to use the restroom.
I hope he can't tell that the expression on my face is not one of desperation to use the facilities.
On it.
To my surprise, Kojiro strides up to the restroom door and begins to slam his fists against it.
Hey, cleaning time is over. Get out of there.
I hear a panicked yelp from within. Kojiro's commanding voice was more than a little intimidating. Within seconds, a terrified old woman emerges. She wheels her cleaning trolley around us, bows quickly, and disappears from sight.
All yours. Bad to hold it.
Thanks.
I dash past Kojiro, unable to believe what is happening here. I slam the door behind me and slip into a cubicle. As soon as I sit atop the toilet's closed lid, my legs begin to shake uncontrollably and I have to lean backward to steady myself. Eiichi Hanada is dead, killed in a traffic accident. That could mean anything, but I'm willing to bet that I caused his death. After seeing the photo of his dismembered corpse, he might have purposefully crashed his car. Or perhaps someone else rammed his vehicle, intent on murdering him on behalf of Corpse Girl. I still don't know how my power works, I don't know why these victims end up dead, but the cause of death ultimately doesn't matter. What matters is that Corpse Girl is victorious once more. I find myself panting, squirming and struggling to restrain myself. My vision fogs, my knuckles clench, and, with barely a fanfare, I begin to cool down all of a sudden. Just like that, the overwhelming urge to explode simply flutters away. Huh? My breathing regulates, my legs solidify and rest firmly on the ground. This experience wasn't nearly as staggering as last time. Maybe because I was so confident that this victim would die, my body already prepared itself for it? Have I already become desensitized to my ability to wield death itself? I won't pretend that I'm not disappointed. That exhilarating feeling I experienced last time, the complete and utter loss of control, it was addicting. I craved experiencing it again. Still, I need to remind myself of the most important thing. I fulfilled the request issued to Corpse Girl. That's 2 new victories in a row, 2 victories in a single week. As long as requests keep coming in, I can keep achieving my goals. I can do this. Full of confidence and feeling steady once more, I exit the cubicle and leave the bathroom. That strange man, Kojiro, is waiting for me at the end of an aisle.
You good?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for... I really needed the bathroom.
Course. Been there. Gotta go when you gotta go. Look what I found.
Kojiro holds up a book with a plain black cover.
Nobel Sinclair's latest. Dazed by the Dead. It's a ripper.
Oh, what's that one about?
Falling in love with the dead. Read it already last year. Time for another go. Oh, here.
Kojiro hands another book to me, this one with a brown cover. An illustration on the front depicts a field of flowers.
What's this?
Sinclair's first ever published work, Strange Flower. Title's nonsense. This is the one where he puts corpses in suits, treats them to meals at fancy restaurants, loaned it out under my name. You take it. Return it before the due date. Can't risk getting fined.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll be sure to read it.
Sure. Send me your thoughts and noise. Right. Be seeing you.
A brief wave of his hand and he disappears behind the closest shelves. I can't really get over how peculiar he is, but he certainly is making an effort to be friendly. I turn the heavy book over in my hands and look inside the front cover for a publication date. 2009. It's actually not that old. Definitely not as old as the fiction I normally consume. I shrug and hoist the bulky tome underneath my arm, then make for the library's exit. I feel uncommonly hungry on my way home, so much so that I decide to stop by a restaurant and get some dinner. I wonder if killing stirs my appetite? I often pass this establishment when I exit the train station Akihabara. It's an old venue that serves traditional Japanese food as well as popular Western dishes. To say that I've always been curious about eating here would be accurate. I've been working hard lately, achieving my goals. I can afford to treat myself to a cooked meal, right? Why do I find it so hard to justify that? I'm even going to eat at a booth tonight, another rarity for me. A waitress guides me to an empty booth and I slide in before looking at a menu. The house specialty, according to the menu in my hands, is grilled eel. Not exactly my favorite. In fact, seafood of any variety doesn't sit well in my stomach. I decide to pass on the specials and order something I know I can digest. Rice sounds good. I used to eat it a lot as a kid. Omelette, rice and ketchup. What's not to like? Plus it's only 700 yen before tax. The waitress returns to take my order and I confidently point out what I'd like. She offers me a smile and hurries off to the next table. Perhaps my recent victory streak has given my courage a boost, because I hardly feel awkward or anxious sitting here, surrounded by people eating and drinking on all sides. I'm somewhat calm and at ease amidst the hustle and bustle of the restaurant. I almost feel like it might be nice to have company. A friend, perhaps Aoi or even Shinya, might be nice to talk to and pass the time with. Oh well, in a way I do have some company. I retrieve a book from my handbag, the very same book Kojiro lent to me, and I open it up to the first chapter. Strange Flower. An odd, apparently meaningless title. Still, it comes highly recommended by an eccentric stranger, so it must be good. My meal arrives when I'm a few pages into the book. I thank the waitress and look at the omrice before me. It smells good. It's presented beautifully. I can probably eat at least a quarter of this portion without feeling ill. I pick up a spoon and slice through the middle of the omrice, causing a puff of steam to billow up. Throwing caution to the wind, I scoop up a good amount and bring it to my mouth. It's delicious. There's no other word to describe it. The convenience store meals I normally eat can't even compare to something like this. The egg is soft, the rice is fluffy, and there's just enough ketchup along the top. I take a second mouthful, then a third. I can't help but giggle a little at the thought of myself sitting here eating like a normal person. All the people around me probably think I'm a normal person too. Just a girl sitting at a restaurant eating her dinner. Another quiet giggle escapes my lips and I gently dab my mouth with a napkin. I set my spoon to the side and return to the book in front of me. The author of this work certainly is interesting. Nobel Sinclair. According to the bio inside the front cover, he moved to Japan from overseas at a young age. The book was written originally in Japanese. It's not a translation, but even so the writing style is quite unusual. I can't quite put my finger on what is strange about it. Maybe it's the lack of complex kanji used throughout. Everything is written rather simply in hiragana, almost like the intended audience is elementary school kids. But that can't be right. The themes contained within are truly disturbing. Maybe the author just doesn't have the greatest comprehension of writing in Japanese. It's true that a lot of adults have trouble with complex kanji. Professional authors, though, not so much. Anyway, it's not like it matters too much. The book is interesting enough to keep me turning pages. I must be completely absorbed in reading because before I know it, a waitress is politely letting me know that the restaurant is closing soon. I nod and look at the plate of omurice in front of me. The meal has gone cold and I only ate 3 bites. Still, I'm feeling full now and I really enjoyed what I did eat. I don't even feel any added weight on my hips as I get to my feet. That's definitely a positive thing. I stretch my arms and legs, put my book in my bag and offer the waitress some money along with the bill. A blast of frigid night air nearly sweeps me off my feet when I step out of the restaurant. If I'd known the weather was going to take a turn for the worse, I would have brought my scarf and jacket. It's the end of spring, so unpredictable cold weather is pretty rare. I guess I can't be blamed for not bundling up. Anyway, it's not raining and I'm close to home, so it shouldn't be a problem. I head down the street and watch a few shop owners closing their stores for the night. They don't pay me any mind as I wander by. My phone bursts to life and rings out in the quiet night air. I grab it and press it close to my ear for warmth.
Hello? Aoi?
Noriko, hello. Is this a bad time?
No, I'm just walking home.
You're out at this time of night? That's not like you.
I stopped somewhere to eat. What's up?
You stopped to eat? Say, about the new job.
What is it?
I spoke to the manager at the maid cafe, but he said I can't quit.
He said that? Oh, well, it's not up to him. You have every right to quit. Did you tell him you've landed a new job?
Yes, I told him. But he said he spent so much time and money training me that if I quit now, he'll treat it as stealing from the company and he'll call the police.
Yes, that's how laws work.
What a load of crap! Hang on. Are you at the cafe now?
Yes, I just finished my shift. We're closing up.
I'll be right there. I'm only a minute away anyway. I'm going to give your manager a piece of my mind.
No, Noriko, you can't.
Just watch me. I'll be right there.
I end the call despite Aoi's objections. I can't believe how furious I am. Aoi finally has an escape route from that god-awful job and now the manager won't let her quit? That has to be illegal. I've never met her manager, but I can just imagine his type. A self-important, wretched, greedy pig. Thinks he's the king of the world because he runs a shady maid cafe in the back streets. Well, I won't stand for it. People like him are the ones that should be reported to Corpse Girl's website. I'd love to target victims like that. I change direction and take up a running pace. The cool air against my face is kind of nice now that my body is warming up a little. Thankfully, there is hardly anyone around this time of night, so I don't feel particularly embarrassed by running in public. I'm not a terribly fit person, so it isn't long before I feel out of breath. I come to a stop at the end of the street, heaving and clutching my chest.
Okay. I'm okay. Deep breaths.
After taking a moment to collect myself, I start back up, walking briskly this time. I can see the maid cafe's illuminated sign ahead of me. I approach the entrance and read the neon board. Chateau de Cristal. Welcome home, master. Drinks from just 400 yen. Table charge 500 yen per person. Open till 10 p.m. every night. I pass the sign and reach for the door handle just as somebody hurriedly throws the door open and emerges.
Noriko?
Aoi, told you I'd be here.
I'm really glad to see you.
Aoi gives me a brief wave. She fidgets nervously and straightens the ruffles in her dress.
I can't believe you have to wear this ridiculous outfit.
Yeah, but the costume isn't the worst part of the job.
I know. Listen, is your manager still here?
Aoi hesitates, then shakes her head sadly.
You just missed him. There are only a few girls inside closing up.
Damn it. I really wanted to give him a piece of my mind.
Noriko, it's fine. I can continue working here. It's not so bad.
Hell no! Don't even pretend it's okay. This place is torturing you. You have that customer that always gropes you and now your manager is controlling you?
I won't stand for it, and you shouldn't either.
But what can I do?
I'm honestly stumped by the question. In all my hastiness to get here, I never even thought through a plan for Aoi. Damn it, that heartbreaking expression on her face. I just want to grab her, hug her, tell her everything's going to be okay. So, why can't I?
Aoi. I know you don't feel like it, but you're the strongest girl I know. All the shit you've dealt with over the years, all the shit you're still dealing with, you're brave, whether you know it or not. My issues pale in comparison to yours, but you still get up each and every day and do your best. I'm proud of you, and I want to make things easier for you. Come work with me at Temujin. Just leave this place behind. Forget all about it.
Noriko.
You're my best friend. You always will be. Even if we can't be anything more than that, I'm happy just having you in my life. I'd do anything for you, Aoi. I hope you realize that.
Of course. I know. Thank you, Noriko.
Let's get out of here. It's really late. Come back to my place.
You know I can't. All my things are at home, and I need to check everything first. Otherwise...
I nod calmly. I understand. I can't push her too much.
Don't worry. I get it.
And the thing is, I can't just run away from this place. That stalking customer, he knows where I live, and, well, if I stop showing up to work, he said he'll visit me at home.
That's where you should be calling the police.
Why don't we go to the police?
Yeah.
I can't do that!
Without warning, Aoi bursts into tears, just as rain begins to spill from the clouds.
I can't get him in trouble. I just can't. He's...
Aoi, what? What is he?
He's... family.
A gust of wind blows down the narrow street, causing my hair to whip wildly in my face. I brush it out of my eyes and mouth, only to see Aoi standing still, her head down.
A stalker? He's... family?
I could never bring myself to tell you. But surely you must have wondered why I've put up with it for so long.
I don't know what to say. I'm stunned. You're putting up with it because you don't want him arrested.
Yes. If he goes to prison, the rest of my family will disown me. Then I'll truly have no one.
So we're apparently no one? Noriko, you heard it.
You have me.
You know what I mean. I'm just going to go home for tonight. Thanks for coming out to see me, Noriko.
Aoi turns on her heel and strolls away, the click-clack of her shoes against the wet pavement echoing through the street.
Aoi.
She doesn't hear me breathe her name as she disappears into the darkness. That poor girl. There has to be something I can do. Okay. I'm going after her. I can't let her go. I can't let her just walk away as sad and helpless as she is. My legs lurch forward of their own volition, propelling my body through the rain-soaked street.
Aoi! Aoi, come back!
My shout echoes in the night, my weightless words falling through the air like the very rain that patters against my face. Aoi's silhouette is just out of reach. If only my weak body could pick up its pace, I might be able to reach her before she fades away.
Stop!
Her unexpected command fulfills its purpose. I halt, my shoes skidding along the wet ground. Aoi is closer than I expected her to be. Perhaps due to some trick of the light and rain, she simply seemed farther away to my tired eyes.
Aoi, please! Let me help you!
There's nothing to be done. Why can't you take a hint? You just never give up, do you? You just want to smother me. You don't trust me to handle things on my own.
That's not it. I just care for you so much.
I know that! You think you haven't made that clear in the past?
Rarely have I ever seen Aoi this angry. She's well past the point of being simply upset now. She's truly furious. Have I overstepped a boundary?
You're not my guardian angel, or my savior, or whatever. This is my life, Noriko. It's not your sick fantasy, where you swoop in and act like my knight in shining armor.
Aoi,
Shut up! Just shut up! You always take it one step too far. Just leave me alone.
I can't get another word in before she vanishes into the night. I reach a hand out into the darkness, like some foolish attempt to stop her, but I know it's pointless. She made her thoughts perfectly clear. She doesn't need or want my help. Even if she cares for me, she doesn't love me in the same way I love her, and I don't think she ever will. I sigh and look up at the thick cloak of clouds above. The rain continues to fall. May 31st, Sunday afternoon. And this is where we're going to leave it off for this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Till then, bye.